Hello and welcome to the RPG Blender, where we give lesser played games and forgotten settings the roll the dice they deserve. I'm your host, Game Master George, and today I'll be beginning a new tutorial series. In honor of Spooky Month, we'll be taking a look at one of my favorite horror-themed games, Don't Rest Your Head. In this series, we'll go through the setting, character creation, rules of the game, and some tips for running it. Now, as always, this series is geared toward people looking to run this game. There are definitely useful pieces for the players, but particularly in this video, there will be spoilers for the setting. So if you want to maintain the mystery of the base setting, be sure you subscribe and click that notification bell before you click away, so you can come back next time when we cover character creation. And with that out of the way, let's dive into Let's Run, Don't Rest Your Head. Intro to the Mad City. Don't Rest Your Head is a game I think we can all relate to in some way. The player characters are the awake, insomniacs who have at this point been awake for an extremely unhealthy amount of time. Rather than dying, yet, from sleep deprivation, the player characters began to see extras in the world. Things that shouldn't be there. Out-of-place doors, windows, or strange stars in the sky. They began to experience a world alongside their own, admittedly with a strange beauty to it. Along with this new world, they have developed talents, some mundane and some twisting or even breaking reality. And these talents are desperately needed. Nightmares stalk the Mad City, drawn inexorably toward the awake. There's no going back. These monsters have the player's scent. All they can do is run and never fall asleep. Can you see why I like this? That is the general premise of this game, and it is a delightfully dark world. So, let's get a bit more in-depth about the setting. The city slumbering is the normal world. The world of the sleepers, the average people. This is the world that the player characters once inhabited, but their insomnia no longer counts them among the sleepers. After all, once you've experienced the 13th hour, how can you return to a life of grocery shopping, the 9-to-5 job, and paying taxes? That said, it is a place of relative normalcy, and a way for the players to ground themselves. And they may still have some obligations there. But remember, some nightmares still hunt the city slumbering. There is no safety. But enough about that. We all know plenty about the normal world. So let's leave the city slumbering for the Mad City. This is the Lost Place, a city existing within the cracks of the world we inhabit. Once someone steps through one of the extra doors, they cease being a sleeper and may become one of the awake. This city is densely populated with those who have fallen from the city slumbering. These people maintain the dress and items from their time period, which is sometime within the last 150 years. They are the ones who fell into the Mad City but did not awaken. For them, the Mad City twisted their body and mind until they became consumed by the role they fill. Or, for those unlucky few, they became nightmares themselves. Sleeper agents among the mostly hollow masses, waiting for something to release the horror within. Time in the Mad City moves a bit differently. The Hollow Men don't seem to age, of course, but despite that, the 12 hours seem to line up relatively closely with the city slumbering. However, the Mad City is where the 13th hour went. At the chime of 13, the cities separate. No one may cross between the two cities. All such doors become locked. For those within the city slumbering, they notice nothing. Time simply moves from a 12 to a 1. However, those within the Mad City find themselves trapped in the world with their hunters. During this hour, nightmares will more aggressively stalk the awakened, stuck here, and potentially separated from their allies. However, not all is doomed during this dark hour. This time is when the Bizaar opens. This is a traveling market, always open to some degree, but truly bustling at the 13th hour. Here, people may find a wide variety of unique goods. See, this market deals in some normal wares, but its primary market is in more intangible goods, memories, fears, sensory experiences. These can all be found here, bound within locked and broken items of personal significance. While there are currencies within the Mad City, these are the true items of value. The market is also a gathering place. The large number of patrons makes it difficult for nightmares to hunt the awake effectively, so they can find some relative safety here, and maybe even recruit some additional allies. Now let's talk about the districts, starting with what could be considered the center of the city, District 13. This place is unique in that its origin is actually known. This place was once a part of the city Slumbering. However, nightmares led by the Taxman ripped the entire district into the Mad City. Reality was protected by the explanation of a great fire burning the entire district to ash. Within the Mad City, this district became the center of the city's semblance of law. The Taxman and Officer Talk maintain a tight grip on the citizens, enough to even hold nightmares in check. The rules are heavily enforced, but also constantly changing. As such, locals and the awake alike do their best to avoid this place. Officer Talk is the chief enforcer of District 13, with his clock face split by a mouth of tooth-like gears, and carrying a long, blood-stained clock hand in the place of a club. He patrols the district, hunting rule breakers and the awake. Should a warrant be issued for the awaken's arrest, Officer Talk will be the one to bring them in. The other half of the district's leadership is the Taxman. He watches the district from above in his office, dressed in an immaculate power suit, made even more impressive by his pin-like fingers and the large pushpin which replaces his head. When he hunts someone, he doesn't take them whole. He has something in particular he wants from them. He will remove a finger and use it to pin in place the prize he seeks. Moving on from District 13, we go to the high school. The tallest buildings in the Mad City make up the high school, a finishing school where children are turned into nightmares. Its schedule seems random, but it will always manage to be open whenever a new crop of orphans arrives in the city. When the promising students graduate, they emerge as ladies in hating, embodiments of jealousy and spite. Those who fail to graduate simply disappear. Little boys never graduate. Ruling over this twisted institution is Mother Wen, rumored to be the very incarnation of death, loosed upon this city when a thief attempted to pick one of the locks during the 13th hour. She takes the appearance of a kindly, rustic schoolmarm. Aside from her black within black eyes, she will quickly cut down to size any unruly students with her yardstick, or read to them from their personal book of horrors, detailing the next terrible thing which will happen to them. Thankfully, she seems content to run her school, as she is one of the most terrifying foes an awakened could encounter, even without her ladies in hating and promising students. Moving to the top, we have the rooftop jungle. With how tightly packed the city is, the rooftops are close enough to be able to jump between. As well, when there's no room for a new doorway, window, or other associated portal, they get sent to the roofs. This has led to the rooftops being a vast, chaotic maze of doorways leading from various locations. While this makes for quick travel through the Mad City for those familiar with the path, not all doors are safe, as nightmares may hide within. This also makes it a popular hunting ground, as many an awakened could stumble unknowingly through a doorway leading to the rooftop jungle. So nightmares will set their nests here and wait for the next tasty snack, foolish enough to not turn around once they realize where they've ended up. The most common nightmare to encounter here would be the paper boys. The paper boys resemble origami figures made of smudged newspaper. They use the doorways to travel the Mad City to deliver tabloids full of prophecies of doom. There is power in collective knowledge, and when one of their predictions spreads through the city, the world seeks to make it true. So a smart awakened will work hard to make sure that they don't end up as a subject of a headline. Finally, we make our way below the ground to the Warrens. These vast, slick tunnels snake their way underground for miles, leading to countless nowheres, home to new nightmares. In the center of the city's bowels lies the Wax Kingdom. Few within the Warrens can escape the touch of wax, and should you fall asleep there, you may awaken to find it slowly crawling over you, eventually covering your face and condemning you to the life of the smothered. So the locals and even nightmares live far out in the tunnels, in the nowheres. Some smaller kingdoms have set themselves up at the outskirts, some even going so far as to declare war on the Wax Kingdom, but it has never been defeated, leaving the creeping spread of wax seemingly inevitable. Ruling over this land of wax is the aptly named Wax King. Unlike the other creatures we've discussed here, he may not truly be a nightmare. He does look the part, with a large blue flame candle upon his head, with dripping wax down his face to form the vestments. But he does not have quite the same homicidal streak as other nightmares. While a dangerous enemy to be sure, it is not unknown for him to help an awakened, even if they should slight him. However, he would never do so without some favor in return, usually to do with the paperboys of the Nightly Revealer publication, who seem to delight in foretelling his doom, a fate which has, as of yet, not come to pass. And with that, we have a darkly humorous setting, perfect for bringing your players through a twisted adventure. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you've gained a similar appreciation for the setting that I have. If you're looking for more inspiration, take a look at Neil Gaiman's Neverwhere, or Garth Nix's Keys to the Kingdom, both great sources to pull from for this world. You could also take a look at our play of this game to get a taste of how the game is run. Meanwhile, if you'd like to pick up the book, check out the affiliate links in the description. You get a new RPG, and you help support the channel. But if you feel drawn to support more directly, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. These really do help a small channel in YouTube's big algorithm. And if you feel particularly generous, consider joining our Patreon and help to decide what our next topics will be. Come back next week when we'll tackle character creation. Anyway, thank you again, and remember, there's gaming outside the Forgotten Realms. Woman eyes you in her classroom, yardstick in hand, and begins making her way toward you.
Hi.
Hello, child. You are in need of much correction. She lashes out with the yardstick, and it slices clean through one of the desks nearby.
Ooh. I think she totally just knee-jerk reaction, like just flinches in air. She was prepared to ask this woman if those were contact lenses or if they were tattooed like, you know, black ink, but I guess she's not gonna have time for that conversation. All right.